Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. We're a YouTube channel dedicated to, you got it, smartwatches, and this one is finally an Android smartwatch I can recommend. Yeah, a lot of times people ask me, what's my favorite, what's the best? And I gotta kind of like dance with that because, well, I can't really recommend any of them except for this one. That's pretty big. Why am I saying this is recommended? Because it's the first real Android smartwatch designed for women and kids that's got everything in it. It does. Look at that sleek design. It's got a front-facing camera, recessed buttons, all that jazz, and it's coming exclusive from TomTop. I haven't been able to find it anywhere else. It's 3G. It's got 1 gigabyte. Well, let's look at the specs. It's all there. We got 1 gigabyte of RAM, which is wonderful. That's the minimum you need to do offline voice-to-text stuff. Full 16 gigabytes of memory and a tiny little fashion casual life watch with waterproof. Well, that's casual life waterproof. That doesn't mean you can swim in it. That's one of the drawbacks. This is not full-on waterproof. There's no way you could get an Android watch this small fully waterproof because you got to still have the antennas in the band. So it's splash proof of sorts. It runs Android 5.1, a 1.3 inch touch screen, 240 by 240, which is an okay resolution for this smaller screen, and full on 2G, 3G support, so you can do SIM calling and all that stuff. Here's some more of the specs. It's a OLED screen, 1.3 inch, 400 milliamp hour battery with a 2 megapixel front-facing video conferencing capable camera recessed nicely into this unit. Wait till you see all these languages supported and more of the specifications listed down here. Okay, let's take a look at it. When we open the box, we get inside here. As you can see, I've already been playing with it. And packaged nicely in here is the watch itself, which has a TPU band. And when we pop it off of its case, check it out. Really, really nice. I'm going to take off the protective cover, and there you go. We've got a nice round watch with, like I say, a front-facing camera right there. It'll work for men as well. I've got an average-sized guy's arm, and it's looking pretty nice here. There's the recessed area for your SIM card. It's behind a little rubber cover. When you get in here and pop it open, there it is on that side. That's where you'd put your nano SIM card. Got to be a GSM network. That means AT&T or T-Mobile in the US, and supporting the proper frequencies, which this one looks like it will. And you have one side button, which we're going to press and turn it on. It just vibrated a little bit, and it's going to start booting up. It says ZGPAX, which is the manufacturer of this. Wouldn't know it otherwise, though. Have not seen this, like I say, anywhere else, exclusive to TomTop. A little sweaty in here. It's kind of hot. Sorry about that. This is the IMEI number. I've covered that up. That's your heart rate sensor. There's your pins for charging it. As it boots up, you can hear it going. Come back over here to the box. Let's dive into here where we reveal the charger, which is your standard 4-pin charger. There you go with a watch face. Connects easily, magnetically, when you get it in the right position. There you go. And relatively strong, not super strong. You're not going to hold the watch up with it, but it will adhere to that and stick to it for charging overnight. Okay, when you get into the watch, oh, I know you want to see the manual first. Finish the unboxing. Here we go, a user's manual, notification information. Okay, there's all of the layout of all the different things. You notice it comes in silver too. The camera's a bit more prominent in the silver. I prefer the black personally, where it's kind of subdued. But you can look right at your watch. That camera is pointing right up at you, and it makes a really nice picture. because it's integrated into the Android operating system in the watch, you're able to tie it into, I believe, pretty much of all of your social applications that allow video conferencing or connection, like Facebook, Hangouts, Messenger. Am I forgetting any? Here's Chinese, and that's the manual. So we have it turned on. We have it in the first watch face. Take you on a quick little tour. You have a variety of different watch faces. These are thumbnails. I want to bring up that one so you can see that it's edge-to-edge technology. Now it's a black screen or black case, and an edge comes down there. So you really don't, it's kind of hard to see, but it truly is edge-to-edge coverage on here. And the different watch faces, of course, take up different amounts. This actually has a black bezel around the time itself, but that's an attractive one. That's the one they show in the pictures often. And we got more different ones. Here's one that's common in these. That's kind of more of a masculine type of display. And again, popping it on my nice, wet, sweaty arm, there's what it would look like on. I'm sold on it. This is really great. I think Mrs. Tick's going to like it. She hasn't seen it yet. And being a full Android one, heck, I could wear this, and or she could wear this, and I could wear another one. We can do the front camera video conferencing, especially if we're both in Wi-Fi. You know, don't get so hung up on a SIM card that's 4G and all that other stuff. These things are great when you're in Wi-Fi, and you're practically everywhere in Wi-Fi. So, if you rely on Wi-Fi signals, or if you're not, and you tether this thing to your phone, set up as a Wi-Fi hotspot, and have your phone on 4G LTE, and connect, Wi-Fi to your phone, you can get the same kind of data speeds as you get in your phone right from your watch. This is a 3G type of a watch. It's not the screaming fast new technology, but it's also not the screaming high prices, and it's in a very attractive, smaller design made for smaller arms, women, children, you name it. And yes, it will accommodate custom watch faces. Here's our classic Vegas smartwatch Tix watch face. I love this one. I've got a few others in here that are custom watch faces. I tend to put these on most of my watches just to give you an idea. Check that out. Nice, huh? All right, so what does it do? How does it work? Like standard Android on these watches, you slide down, you get a series of pages. This shows you your power level, whether you have a SIM card in, whether you're tethered to a phone, Bluetooth tether, date and time, all that stuff. Come over here, you got volume up or silent mode. You've got twist your wrist to see the time, airplane mode, cellular data connectivity, and location services. Here's where you can change the brightness of the screen. There's its lowest, here's its highest, Bluetooth, and then Wi-Fi connectivity. You scroll once more to the right, and you get into your steps. I just turned it on. But again, there's that edge-to-edge screen. Look at that. And nice and bright. It's overpowering the camera. And that's it. So 1, 2, 3 pages there. Come back to your home page, your home watch face. To the right, moving over to the left, you get notifications if you have any. This is pushed from your phone. Moving over this way, you get your app drawer. We'll go through those. And one more time, you get your music player. Now, finally, if you swipe up like this, you get your weather report with your location at the top, centigrade and Fahrenheit, which is really nice. We're starting to see that. And you swipe again, and you'll get your forecast for the rest of the week. Okay, that's how it works in general. It's standard Android 5.1. Android 5.1 is really stable on these watches. 6 and 7 are kind of works in progress. And if you're not really watch savvy and you want a smartwatch that's going to just work right out of the box, 5.1 is a good one. And like I said, this is well designed to work just about with anybody, as opposed to some of the larger, bulkier watches that are obviously driven for larger arms, I'll put it that way. All right, these are our apps. By the way, I don't know if you see there's a little dot right there. That's a screen protector that's already on here, and it got a bubble in it. You see that right there? And sometimes you can work them out, sometimes you can't. I generally peel off the screen protectors. It's Gorilla Glass, I believe, on this thing, so you're not going to scratch it. But it's there just in case you're wondering. I sometimes get questions. Oh, what do I see on the screen? Is that? It's just a challenge to put these screen protectors on without getting bubbles in there. The first three, contacts, phone, and Bluetooth. Whoa, look at that, Bluetooth calling. Usually it's contacts, phones, and messaging go with your SIM card. Bluetooth calling, that's the new feature that's available only with Android 5.1 so far on Android smartwatches, which allows you, when you go into it, to connect with your phone, bring in your call logs from your phone, bring in your contacts from your phone, and if you are fully connected, you can place a call from your watch through your phone SIM back and forth. A call comes into your phone, you can answer it with your watch. That's called Bluetooth tethering. It's different than when you put your own SIM card here with its own phone number. But because you can do that as well, and you have Bluetooth calling, that makes this what's called a dual mode watch. That's what everybody loves. Dual mode, work it whichever way you want. Don't want to put a SIM in it, but still want to do phone calling? You can do it. Video phone calling now is different. It usually is app driven. You bring up Hangouts or Facebook or something, and you invoke the video messaging, and the app ties into the camera and the microphone, and you conduct your conversation without worrying about whether it's going over your phone network. Right? Got the difference? Okay. So doesn't matter whether you have a SIM or you have it tethered to Bluetooth. You're in Starbucks, you're on the Wi-Fi, you're standing in line, and you want to show the pastries to your beloved to decide which one they want you to buy, you can do it with this watch. Right there, over Wi-Fi video conferencing. That's phone, Bluetooth calling, messaging. That's all your communication stuff. Settings we get into. Standard Android 5.1. You can adjust your sound levels on here. And it's a good sounding, pretty loud watch. You hear all that stuff? You've got a display where you can change your sleep from as little as 15 seconds to as much as 30 minutes and adjust your brightness level all the way up to there. Remember I had it set for high? Well, there's even more high than that for outdoors. I don't want to bring it too high, though, because it'll wash out on the screen. There you go with the display. Your app list style, we're in just a sequential arc right now, but you also can have a list, which is a little bit different, or you can have a matrix, which is like that, okay? But I like to have it in the arc or the list style, because then we can work through them one by one. So we're going to go back up here to the arc. Arc just means that they go around the side as opposed to they're just going up. And oftentimes, if the words are a little long, you'll be able to see the whole thing on the screen if it's arc because it moves the icon a little over to the side. We were in settings doing this. Now, connection is where you can set up your Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. You can make this watch a Wi-Fi hotspot if you've got a data SIM in there on a data plan with your carrier and you got enough battery power in here to let this thing work as a hotspot. Basically, if you're out there with a SIM card in, all set up to do this, you turn Wi-Fi hotspot on, you tether your tablet to your watch through your SIM, you could actually do something, on your tablet as if you were connected to Wi-Fi at Starbucks. Instead, you're hooked up to the watch. Usually you don't do that because it's very battery intensive, and you kind of work it the other way. You let this be the slave to the master of your phone if your phone is in Wi-Fi hotspot. But you have that capability. Airplane mode, GPS is for your location, and you can restrict apps in the background. That's turned on to help save battery power right out of the bat. That's all your connection. Gesture is whether you're going to see your time when you twist your wrist. That was also icon driven, remember, from that first screen, but you can turn it on and off here. If you don't do step counts and you're not tracking your fitness on it, turn that thing off and it won't be logging your steps all the time and using battery for that. Power savings is another place you can come in here, see what your power's like, what apps are using the most power, and from that you can adjust your use patterns to try to squeeze more battery life out of it. Language and input, you've got the standard keyboard that comes with it, but you can install other ones if you want. You've got Google Voice Typing. Voice input and text-to-speech output are capable. Remember, I mentioned there's 1 gigabyte in here. With that, offline, not connected to any internet, if you download your language, most languages are supported. You can speak, and it will turn your speech into text right on the watch without being connected to any kind of network. Date and time is standard. That's where you set it up. Select AM and PM if you want to. Time zones, everything. Resetting your equipment, uninstalling apps, and about the watch. When you go in here, you have the ability to do a wireless upgrade if there are any waiting, as long as you're connected to the internet. And it's almost washed out there. It will retrieve any, what they call OTA, over-the-air push updates. Firmware updates for the watch. You don't have to do much more than just when it says do it, do it. Make sure you got a full charge, and it's just going to go roaming through that while we're looking at it, so we'll just bail out of it. Here's the statistical stuff. It's model number S216. I'm moving quickly. It's running Android 5.1. There's the security patches and blah, blah, blah. The kernel and the build number are the things most people look for to see if you've got the latest firmware in there. These are the versions that are running right now while you're watching this video. It may be updated. Check to see if there's an over-the-air update for you and update it to the latest version. Always a good idea. Standard stock browser. Calendar is not your Google Calendar. It's a lame little thing like this. It's just showing basic calendar. Clock is where you set your alarm clocks. Camera, is my hair combed? Oh no, it's not. All right. Well, anyway, here I am. Hi, everybody. This is a front-facing camera. So I told you, it's working pretty good. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do a little testing on here. I'm going to take a picture. Cheese! I hope that worked. And I'm going to shoot a little video. What did it say? Touch and hold something on the screen to blah, blah, blah. Is it recording? Now it is. Hi. Notice it's made it like a camera on your phone. It's narrow and tall, so it's recording in a way that if you send it to somebody on a phone, my face would be really big on their phone probably. Let's stop that. Save it. And now, jumping ahead, I'm going to tap over here. Tap and hold object on screen to enable object tracking. Oh, that's what it was. If you wanted to track the booger in my nose, I could have done that and it would keep that in focus for you. But you really don't want to watch that. You want to watch this. Here's the playback. Okay, so I hope you heard that. It's not really loud, but it's not really soft either. But it's transmitting, if you've got it in a video conferencing mode, to the person on the other end, and they would be able to see it. And there's the smiley Mr. Tix, who's the first person I've ever seen that's able to make the bottom of a glass imprint in a smile. How did I do that? Oh, that's disgusting. I wish we didn't have cameras on phones that I have to demo. It's really embarrassing. All right, and there we are, back to the camera, nice and fast moving. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't try zooming. I double tap, and look at that. I can zoom it in, and I can move it around. Cool, huh? Okay, I can go to the picture, double tap, and really gross you out. Double tap again. Whoa! Doggy doo. Look at that. I'm like wrinkled. Oh gosh. Okay, so you have 2 levels of double tapping. You don't have. Yes, we do. Oh! Look at that. We've got pinch and zoom. Folks, you know what that means? Whenever you do that and you can pinch and zoom, it means you've opened a whole new world, almost 3D. It's like Dorothy going into color on The Wizard of Oz. 2-finger pinching, wow, means on games that take multiple touch control, you can do it. I am really impressed now. I don't recommend this. I over-recommend this. This is the watch. This is the Android watch I would choose for sure for a basic, solid, nicely designed, kind of recessed, hidden camera. Wow. And double tap and pinch and zoom? Anyway, I was saying on games and things, you can You can do stuff that requires two fingers, a gas pedal and a brake, you know. I don't know. I'm not a gamer, but you gamers know what that means, and you should be lighting up as much as I am. That was a rare find. Glad we tested for that. That's all about camera. The gallery we've basically already been in looking at those pictures. Music is where you have your player. These are all beep tones that are installed. Unfortunately, it indexes all of those as well. But you got 16 gigabytes of memory in here, right? And with that storage, you can put in all kinds of songs and you'd access them through here. This is the music on the watch, not to be confused with music that's on your phone that you access through Bluetooth tethering. That's coming up. Basic sound recorder, I'm not even going to bother because we just did it in the camera, but this is where you do an audio recording. Go to the file list, play it back, and of course you can export anything you either record in video or in audio off of the watch to someplace else. File manager is where you have all of your different files that you can access. Look at that, I got over 11 gigabytes of space and I've already filled it with a whole bunch of stuff, including my core apps. These are APKs, you know, app files that when I sideload them by connecting it to my computer, I can put them on the watch and then I can install them by touching them and go through the install process. Once I've done that, I can delete the APKs if I want or leave them there. Doesn't take up too much room for later. But here we are. I already have AIDA 64 installed, so if it's something new, it'll tell you to do it. If it's an update, it'll tell you to do the update. But anyway, that's all in File Manager. Health is where you get into the pedometer and the heart rate. Now, we haven't talked about that. That's the little diode here. If I go into heart rate, it should light it up, and it's blinking. I can put any part of my body on here that's got a pulse, and every part of my body should. So I'm using a finger, but typically it's on your wrist. It's kind of designed for that, and in a few seconds you should get a heart rate. This, oh, no wonder. I am wired right now. I'm kind of high, but you know, it's coming down. But it logs that first one in with date and time, and it keeps a record for that. This can transfer through the tethering app to your phone, and you can keep a record of your heart rate there as well. And you can see it's real time. It's continuing to adjust. Oftentimes it's either too high or too low, and then it kind of moves from there. So I would recommend let it stabilize after about a minute and take that reading as more or less accurate. I'm still higher than I like to be, but 85 is way better than 93. Okay, so that's there. Pedometer is similar to the regular step count, but you can actually do an interval pedometer, meaning that it will time your walking. So if you want to run or walk or whatever and get a timed reference for that, that's what's going to happen when you do the internal or interval pedometer. That's all coming out of the health app. Weather is weather. We already looked at that. Voice search is tying in with Google, and this is where you can basically do the same thing as the OK you know what. And when you're on the internet, preferably on Wi-Fi, you can do all the voice search activity. Pretty sure you can even launch apps from here. So if you could say launch weather or open weather or launch maps, and it would bring up your Google Maps. Here's your Google Play Store. Log into that. You can download all of your apps. If you log in under your account, you can also download the ones you've paid for your phone right here on your watch. Now, these are a bunch of the ones I've put in. Display brightness, look at some of my other reviews on that. That's a way you can install a brightness control on the watch that you can just slide up and down on any screen, including the watch face, and adjust the brightness. I have not activated it yet on this watch, but it's available. Open Camera is an alternative open source camera that you can use to interface with the camera here for taking pictures. I kind of like it because you can set it up to take a picture and freeze that picture on the screen, and then you either say save or cancel if you don't like it. So obviously, if you're taking a smiley selfie, you're going to see it when you take it. But let's say you're popping it over your shoulder to look at the people in the line behind you standing waiting for the movie. And after you take the picture, you bring your wrist down, you can see what you captured and cancel it and do it again or keep it, whatever. Anyway, a lot of flexibility with the app Open Camera. Now, we're back to stock apps. Reminder is a variety of looping timers that you can set up for sedentary, drinking water, eye exercises, taking your medications, and settings lets you change those. They're really just recurring alarms that you can set for whatever you want. Now this whole section of Bluetooth connectivity, it's like a folder that's got all this in here. Here's what you need to connect tethered to your phone. I'm not going to go over it in this video, but you can check in the show notes and I'll have links to several other videos that use the same tethering app that this one does, and you can jump over there and learn about tethering. It's the same process just for different watches, and that'll get us through this one quickly. Usually you just flip that way to get out of it, but sometimes it doesn't. I'm coming back in here. Once you're connected, you have remote capture, meaning you can make this a button to capture the picture that's on your phone. Music control to control the music on your phone. Find your device, make it vibrate or make noise. And here's where you switch platforms and choose whether you're on Apple or whether you're on Android. And the blue one is the one that's selected. And I'm on Android, and if you choose a different one, it kind of reboots the whole watch because it uses a totally different interface for all of that. And that's Bluetooth connectivity, one of the stock apps. Now we're back into my installed apps. AID64 is where you can learn about it for tech folks. Here's some information about the processor, about the memory, okay, and more information about the CPU. It's a quad core, la-di-da. I'm not a big spec guy, so I'm just courtesy putting it out there. 240 by 240. Let me tell you about that. I mean, this is a small watch, and you can read that fine, right? Okay, good. Larger watches, they start to get a little fuzzy. 360 by 360 is my sweet spot. I like that. It's not too many pixels that you're using a lot of battery, and you get a nice overall screen. Some of the apps, when you're at 240 by 240, don't render properly. By the way, some of the apps will go off the screen. You have menus in the corners, and if you want to make this a square inside this circle, you simply press and hold like you're going to turn the watch off, and you tap that button there. See how it changed to a square? Hit cancel, and now there it is. See, I have a menu right there. If I wanted to access that menu, I couldn't have done it before when it was all full in the round circle, but now I can. After I access the menu, if I want to read it a little bit larger, just go back. This is so cool. For years we were fretting for this, and now it's become second nature as long as you remember how to get to it. It's really, really sweet. Okay, that's enough of this one. Now we get to the Antutu Benchmark stuff. The 3D portion ties in with this one, and I press that button. It's going to actually run a benchmarking application. Again, there's that full screen. We hit test, and it's starting to go. First thing it does is turn sideways and launch that little 3D display. It says that we are on a 240 by 240 screen. And this little garden that they put here is kind of a flyby with audio. The things you want to look for on this are how smooth is the video moving. Is it jerking like a slow YouTube? Or is it relatively smooth? Then you kind of check and see how are the graphics when you see things that are moving, and the transitions, the fade outs and fade ins. My estimation, having seen lots and lots of these, this is pretty good. I mean, it's not great. It's not a gaming machine by any means, but for a watch, it's really good. In 240 by 240, yeah, I'm impressed. So I'm going to skip ahead because the rest of this test takes about 5 to 10 minutes to get a number. And that's all we're after, is the number that will let you know the basic speed of this watch. So here's your final result. Wow, okay, look at that, 20,788, almost 21,000. That is a very nice reading. That means this watch should be nice and snappy and pretty much keep up with everything you want to do. Hence, we saw that graphic was not jittery at all. Very, very nice. Engineering mode MPK, this is what we use to come over here in our location-based testing, going into GPS. and turning GPS on. Now when you do, and some of this is scrolled off the screen, you're saying yes that you want to turn it on, and now we hit that and it turns on GPS, and we agree to all of this stuff here. It says don't show that again, so I won't. It's just basically giving Google permission to do everything. Any previous version, you turned it off. Do you want to turn it on? Yes, I do. And after all of that, now it's finally turned on in high accuracy mode. And now we can go back and try GPS again. I turned it on, and when we come to view, we get this little satellite picture here. And basically, it's activating the GPS inside now. And I usually have to go outside for this, for it to acquire the satellites and show you your location information. So we'll try that. There we go. As usual, it took a little while the first time. It has to kind of update all of the directories about all of the satellites. Took maybe 3 minutes, but now, after doing it the first time, it pops in much more quickly. When you get all the satellite dots, which are normally red, will turn green, and you get these bars down at the bottom showing you pretty much the signal strength. And unlike most of these Android watches, by now they would start blipping out and going away, turning red again, because indoors you don't usually lock up with GPS. But this is staying solid. So already I rank this as one of the top 5% of all of the watches I've tested. I think there's only been 2 or 3 others that have lasted this well and this long. Wow, another way of recommending this watch. If you're going to be doing mapping, following your Google Maps, location services, any of that kind of stuff, this is solid. It's really holding. This is great. Nice, good solid GPS. And that's all, part of these antennas that are in the band. See the little cutouts there? There's all kinds of antennas in there, cellular, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth, and of course the GPS, all of that. And so they've done a really nice job of containing it in this nice little package. Alrighty, that's engineering mode MTK. There's a couple of other apps in here that are worthy of playing with. And then, of course, you can get into fun little things like koi fish on your watch. Nothing like walking around and eating sushi at the restaurant while you have koi swimming on your arm, huh? All right, I'm belaboring this way too long, especially if we're talking ladies' watch, children's watch. We don't want to get bogged down in all of the specs. Oh, yeah, this one has a sensitive screen. 2-finger, huh? Yeah, look at that. Can I get 3? Yep, look at that. I got 3 points of... Now I have a new way of demoing how many actual active points you can do on... Wow. Hey, you know what? I'm going to buy this one. I know. I get them for free to evaluate. But if I was going to buy a watch, we're proper English, if I were going to buy a watch, I would buy this one. This is from TomTop. So far, it's the only source I've ever seen that has it. And I'm really happy they've got it, and really ecstatic that they sent it out, and it's available right now. Check the show notes down below for a buying link. Pop you over here. If I can get a coupon discount, we'll even sweeten the deal by making it a little bit less expensive. But no guarantees. Just check it out. If I can, I will. Otherwise, definitely use the link to pop in there and pick this puppy up. You've been watching Smartwatch Ticks. Really appreciate you being here. Really happy to bring you this one, and I'll be doing a referral to this video for anybody looking for a ladies or children's size, say 13 or older, so because kids shouldn't be running around with cameras on social media without supervision. Maybe 18 or older. I don't know. Anyway, up to you, but it's a really good watch. Okay, we'll see you again soon. Okay, the straps are about 20 millimeters for those who want to change the way it buckles on here. As far as the overall watch size, including the button on the edge, which is recessed, we're at about 47 millimeters. And lengthwise, well, you really can't tell, but including the camera up there, about 55? Overall thickness for the watch, including the heart rate monitor button, is 15.5. So nice little watch, not too big around. When we check out the weight with the scale that blooms out on the video, 68.1 grams. There you go.